Heaven and earth crumble, and all phenomena are extinguished. This is the era of the end of cultivation. The world's cultivation resources are barren, spiritual energy is scarce, and spiritual stones are rare. Everyone is subdued for a mouthful of spiritual energy, and blood splatters 3 feet from a spiritual stone. Jiang Ruoan crossed over and found himself carrying a mysterious box with him. By placing a spirit stone in it, he could infinitely enlarge it and even influence reality and distort the heavenly way through the box. The resources that others consider precious are endless. He casually took out the treasure that others were desperately trying to snatch. Jiang Ruoan. Don't challenge my pocket money with your family background. Chapter 1. Mysterious Box. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Sanfu City, a magnificent courtyard. In a bronze mirror, a handsome young man is reflected. So, have I really traveled through this? Jiang Ruoan let out a sigh. In his past life, he stayed up late and worked overtime to catch up with the plan, but unexpectedly died suddenly in front of the computer. Now I have miraculously traveled to a different world. It has been several days already. Fortunately, in this life, my identity seems to be quite good. Travel to this world of cultivation. Not only is he the legitimate son of a noble family, but he has also been favored by the family since childhood, with his clothes stretched out and his food open. Moreover, his cultivation talent is excellent, and at the age of only 16, he has reached the 5th level of cultivation, which is considered among the top among his peers. It seems that the heavens saw that my previous life was too difficult, so this life has made me feel a bit comfortable. Jiang Ruoan's face flashed with a hint of self-deprecation. In his previous life, although he was intelligent and efficient in his work, he was kind and had a cowardly personality. In the end, people tend to be bullied and do many jobs that do not belong to them, leading to exhaustion and death. In another life, he will never be a kind old man again. What's the point of being curled up and alive? Maybe one day I'll burp my butt. Since I can't live forever, it's better to just lie flat. Jiang Ruoan shook his head. Now that his identity is outstanding, even if he doesn't work hard, he can live a comfortable life. He has been living these days carefully, fully absorbing his memories and gradually adapting to his identity. Today, I can finally calm down and take a break. Subconsciously, Jiang Ruoan's gaze fell on the wooden box beside him. This wooden box should have traveled with me, right? I haven't seen it for the past few days to avoid revealing my personality. Today, I can finally take a good look. As a seasoned otaku, Jiang Ruoan has a special hobby of collecting models. He endured for a few days not to look at the models around him, which really made him feel a bit tired. Jiang Ruoan took a few steps closer and, upon closer examination, discovered that what was placed inside resembled an ancient world. There are about hundreds of courtyards, and the models are extremely exquisite, looking as if they are proportionally reduced. Jiang Ruoan, a seasoned enthusiast, not only cannot pick out any flaws, but even at a glance, there is a feeling of love that cannot be put down. Ha! What is this? Did any ants crawl in? Upon closer inspection, Jiang Ruoan immediately noticed a slight difference. Outside the house model, there seemed to be a few ants crawling. Upon closer inspection, there are no ants here, they are simply humans. What a small person, is this also a human? Are the models in the cultivation world so exquisite? The little person is only half the size of a little thumb, but it is also very delicate, and upon closer inspection, both its facial features and appearance are extremely realistic. At this moment, Jiang Ruoan realized that there were actually many such small people in the entire model box. These little people are all doing their own things in an orderly manner, some are practicing martial arts, some are chopping wood and carrying water, and there are also many maids and servants cleaning the house. Combining hundreds of courtyards, it is simply an exquisite model of a wealthy family. And it's a moving model. Such a delicate and perfect model, if moved back to its past life, is estimated to sell for millions of dollars in value. For veteran enthusiasts like Jiang Ruoan who love models, he is not even willing to touch the things inside the model, fearing that he may accidentally touch and damage the model inside. Hey! This yard is like where I stay, there's a big stone outside. This is a courtyard located in the center, which was only seen by Jiang Ruoan now because it is not large. The shape and appearance of the other courtyard are exactly the same as those in his memory, and even the lines of the huge stones in the courtyard can be clearly seen. Outside the courtyard at this moment, a servant dressed up as a small person slowly walked over. Seems to be planning to knock on the door of another courtyard. Dong dong dong. Jiang Ruoan was watching the excitement when he heard a knock on the door. Who? Young master, the second master has something important to attend to. Please come over. Outside the gatehouse, a crisp sound sounded. He is a servant in the mansion. Got it, I'll be right out. After a few casual responses, Jiang Ruoan reluctantly glanced at the model again. Forget it, I have adapted to my identity now, and there will be plenty of opportunities to play in the future. Just suddenly, Jiang Ruoan was taken aback. How could the costume of the little person outside the room look so familiar? Isn't this the attire of his Jiang family servants? How could it be such a coincidence? The other courtyard is also where he is located, and the little people outside are also the clothing of his family's servants. Is there something fishy about this? Dong dong dong. Another knock on the door sounded, and at this moment, the little person in the model was also making a knock on the door. Young master, hurry up. If it takes too long, second master will be dissatisfied. Outside the door, the servant's voice rang out again with the sound of knocking. Even knocking on the door at the same time. What exactly is this thing? Is it a surveillance device from the cultivation era? Jiang Ruoan was a bit confused at the moment, and the servants outside urged him again. He decided not to think too much and put the model into his storage bag before cautiously leaving the room. Outside the courtyard, Jiang Ruoan instinctively lifted his head and looked up into the sky. Azure sky, nothing. Did I guess wrong? Isn't it monitoring? Or because I put away the model, there were no abnormalities. For a moment, too many doubts surged into Jiang Ruoan's heart, but he had no time to explore. The servant outside the door urged him again. Seeing Jiang Ruoan finally come out, the servant finally breathed a sigh of relief. Young master, you have finally come out. If you come out late for a while, second master should punish me. After all, unable to resist curiosity, Jiang Ruoan directly spoke up and asked. Did you see anything strange in the sky when you came? The servant glanced strangely at Jiang Ruoan and then looked up at the sky, but did not notice any abnormalities. No, young master. Today is still as usual, everything is normal. Jiang Ruoan nodded in confusion, speculating that the servant's cultivation might not be enough, and he didn't ask any further questions. Let's go. Chapter 2. The Preciousness of Spirit Stones. You are listening at mouthful.audio. The mansion of the Jiang family is very large, with over 100 other courtyards alone. As a family within Sanfu City, this is also the strength that should be possessed. Along the way, Jiang Ruoan looked around curiously. The more he looked, the more surprised Jiang Ruoan felt. The architectural pattern here is almost the same as that in the box. The only difference is that one is looking straight up and the other is looking down. Why do you look so familiar with the buildings inside the box? It's my Jiang family's mansion. However, just now I was looking down at the Jiang family from above, and I didn't react immediately. The more it was like this, the more curious Jiang Ruoan became. What exactly was that box? It could actually play the status of the Jiang family in real time. Is it the treasure that God gave me? After about half a burn of incense, Jiang Ruoan arrived in a hall. Above the high hall, an elderly man with white beard sat up and watched as Jiang Ruoan entered. A smile immediately appeared on his face. Shaoan, why did you arrive so late? Something happened just now, it delayed for a while. Jiang Ruoan was not polite, he should have been so stubborn and unbearable. If there's anything, just tell Grandpa. Grandpa won't let you suffer. This person is Jiang Ruoan's grandfather, the second master of the Jiang family, Jiang Tianyun. His face was rosy, full of vitality, and his expression towards Jiang Ruoan showed a hint of indulgence. It's okay, Grandpa. It's my own business. Upon hearing these words, Jiang Ruoan appeared calm on the surface, but in his heart he lamented. This kind old man probably doesn't know yet that his grandson has probably passed away now. But it's okay, from now on, I will continue to live well on his behalf. That's okay, there's one thing you may not know yet. Your father had a feeling of cultivation a few days ago and has already closed down to break through the innate realm and become a great cultivator of the building foundation realm. Speaking of this, Jiang Tianyun's tone suddenly paused, his voice lowered, and his face became serious. For this time, the clan has already taken out all the spiritual stones for storage, and all members' future cultivation resources will also be temporarily suspended. Jiang Ruoan nodded. His father was one of the top 3 strong men in the clan, and when he was young, he was also the most promising genius of the Jiang family. Now that we want to break through our innate barriers and reach the realm of building foundations, our clan will naturally strongly support us. The cultivation realms of this world, from weak to strong, are postnatal, innate, foundation building, golden pill, elemental baby, and transforming spirit. At the age of 15, my cultivation level has reached 5 levels, making me a leader among my peers. My father's innate cultivation of 9 levels is also one of the top 10 experts in the city. As for the foundation realm above, there is only one city lord. If my father can break through his innate limitations and achieve the realm of foundation building, the power of the Jiang family will surely soar to become the second force in Sanfu City. I've wronged you, Shaoan. Although the others have stopped, you can't stop. Let's use miscellaneous spirit stones to cultivate first. As Jiang Tianyun spoke, he handed Jiang Ruoan a stone that looked like a pigeon egg. Is this a miscellaneous spirit stone? He remembered that when he was practicing, the Jiang family would give him a crystal clear spiritual stone, but now it has turned into this miscellaneous spiritual stone, like a pigeon egg. This stone is not only the same size as a pigeon egg, but also very similar in appearance to a pigeon egg, except that it has a bumpy appearance and a little light blue fine particles on top. If you have a careful understanding, you can feel a trace of pure spiritual energy from above. Sigh. Jiang Tianyun let out a sigh, with a hint of impatience, but there was nothing he could do, ultimately turning into a resolute gaze. This adventure is crucial, and I'm telling you today to make you take on the responsibility of your family. Remember that you are a man from the Jiang family. Once your father achieves success, our Jiang family will undoubtedly become the second strongest tribe in Sanfu City. Even if we consume all the hundreds of spirit stones that our Jiang family has stored, we will not hesitate to do so. Jiang Tianyun was quite excited, and Jiang Ruoan nodded heavily again. My grandson understands. He only felt puzzled because the spirit stone was an absolute tough commodity of this era, even harder than the gold of previous lives. Because it is not only necessary for cultivation, but also a versatile energy source that uses various array artifacts and spiritual fields for irrigation, making it more effective than gold. A family without spiritual stone reserves is basically not far from decline. As a wealthy family in the city, how dare you take such a risk? You should know that as a beloved member of the family before, he could only use 1 spirit stone for cultivation per month. Now his father needs to go into seclusion, he doesn't even have a spirit stone. It's really strange that all the spirit stones were used without any warning this time. After coming out of the lobby, Jiang Ruoan looked at the miscellaneous spiritual stones in his hand and couldn't help but sigh slightly. If we rely solely on this miscellaneous spiritual stone, the cultivation effect in a month is at most 2 to 3 times faster than not using the spiritual stone, far less than the cultivation speed of 10 times that of the spiritual stone. My father suddenly depleted the family resources and closed down, while my grandfather mysteriously explained things. These things make Jiang Ruoan feel a bit uneasy, always feeling that something big will happen. Forget it, let's not think too much and go home to play with the model. As long as my father breaks through to the realm of building foundations, I will be the top second-generation cultivator in the city, so why don't I just walk sideways? Who dares to provoke me? I'll just ride my face as a foundation-building cultivator. At the thought of this, Jiang Ruoan's mood instantly improved. Especially, in my storage bag, there is still my latest harvest lying, a beautiful Jiang family model. After a moment, Jiang Ruoan returned to his room and took out the mysterious box again. As before, the contents inside the box have not changed at all. The mansion he is in is still located in the center of the box, surrounding the entire Jiang family mansion. At this moment, the situation of the real Jiang family has been fully recognized by Jiang Ruoan. If this thing is monitoring the Jiang family, then what is the core of it? Thinking of this, Jiang Ruoan put the box into a storage bag and walked several other yards to an empty courtyard, where he retrieved the box again. Sure enough, there was a subtle change in the contents of the box. The courtyard located in the center of Jiang Ruoan has become another courtyard where Jiang Ruoan currently resides. It seems that the core area should have moved with this box. At this moment, Jiang Ruoan can basically confirm this point. Then, for safety reasons, Jiang Ruoan withdrew the box and returned to his own mansion. It waited at the door for a while before returning to the courtyard when someone passed by, and only took out the box after locking the gate tightly. At the next moment, the scene inside the box was panoramic. The servants in the lane outside the courtyard appeared in the box vividly, just like what Jiang Ruoan had observed before. Real-time monitoring, this can also be completely confirmed. Without hesitation, Jiang Ruoan walked out of the room holding the box and arrived at the center of the small courtyard. The scene inside the box changed once again, and Jiang Ruoan's figure suddenly appeared. But the little man was holding nothing and had no box. Surprisingly, is it like this? Do you have me or don't you have a box? With endless curiosity in his heart, Jiang Ruoan finally put his hand in, wanting to see if he could change what was inside the box. Chapter 3. The Capacity of Boxes. You are listening at mouthful.audio. Hush. The giant hand had not yet approached Jiang Ruoan, and a piercing chill arose from his heart. It seems that some terrifying force is pressing down from above the sky. Forget it, if you don't die, you won't die. Shaking his head, Jiang Ruoan without hesitation transformed the target he was about to grasp from himself into a large stone next to him. A real sense of touch comes from one's own hands, not a phantom, but a real hardness. A substantial feeling, within reason, within expectation. Jiang Ruoan was lost in thought, but turned his head to see a surprising scene. The big stone in the courtyard was actually being manipulated by oneself at will. To the naked eye, there was nothing around the stone, but the large stone was casually manipulated by Jiang Ruoan. Is it true that I can influence the real world from inside the box? This discovery left Jiang Ruoan somewhat shocked. He originally thought that his box might just be a huge surveillance box. But now it seems that I can actually influence the real world through this box, and the functions of this box are probably far beyond my imagination. Jiang Ruoan pondered for a moment, then suddenly exerted force and the small stone in his hand was suddenly crushed by him. The huge stones in the courtyard, like foam, broke into rubble piles out of thin air. How could there be such a great power? This stone is not an ordinary stone. Without the power of innate realm, it cannot be broken, let alone crushed, which is not something that ordinary innate beings can do. Nowadays, with just a gentle push, one can easily crush it. That is to say, through this box, I can unleash my innate, even stronger power. At the thought of this, Ruoan felt a slight excitement. In that case, as long as you have a box in hand, your life-saving ability will immediately be elevated to a higher level. If one can break through to their innate abilities, wouldn't it be invincible directly? In this world of cultivation, having an extra trump card has given Ruoan some peace of mind. The unease in his heart naturally dissipated, and Ruoan continued to experiment with the box. Since you can directly intervene in the world through the box, can you use other things to intervene in the real world through the box? You can crush a huge rock with your own hands, but if you go into a brazier, you can't directly create a flame mountain. The more he thought about it, the more he became enthusiastic. Ruoan simply touched his body. I found that there was nothing else besides the miscellaneous spirit stone. Then give this a try. To avoid attracting attention, Ruoan gently placed a miscellaneous spiritual stone into the box. Boom! In the originally peaceful courtyard, a slight vibration suddenly occurred. The entire courtyard felt like it had experienced a small earthquake. At the same time, a larger stone appeared in the area where the previous large stone was located. This is a giant pigeon egg that is 2 people tall and surrounded by 3 people. Just as pigeon eggs appeared, the originally barren spiritual energy in the small courtyard suddenly became rich. Looking at this huge pigeon egg, Ruoan was slightly stunned. Because on top of this huge pigeon egg, there are small blue gemstones of all sizes, each sparkling and emitting a rich spiritual energy. Is this stone an enlarged version of the miscellaneous spirit stone? Ruoan approached the spirit stone in a daze, gently stroking it, and a real texture was transmitted from his fingers. This spiritual stone is as if it was not placed by Ruoan, but rather as if it has been staying in this small courtyard for a long time. And just now, if Ruoan was not mistaken, this miscellaneous spirit stone suddenly appeared at the moment of contact with the ground. That is to say, if you want to influence the real world through the box, you only need to contact the items inside the box and put them inside. Now, Ruoan is a bit curious about the quality of the spirit stones on the miscellaneous spirit stones. When Ruoan took over the miscellaneous spirit stones before, he checked them. The blue powder on the miscellaneous spirit stone is the spirit stone powder. A miscellaneous spiritual stone, which contains only 1 to 50% of the true spiritual stone. And a pure spirit stone is entirely composed of this powder. However, the size of a spirit stone is only the size of a pigeon egg. Nowadays, on this giant stone in the courtyard, spirit stones the size of pigeon eggs are everywhere, and the largest ones are even as big as fists. Ruoan didn't think much and directly mixed a spirit stone that was the size of a fist. In an instant, an abundant spiritual energy escaped from the spirit stone, enveloping Ruoan's entire body. What a strong spiritual energy, this thing is somewhat exaggerated. The spiritual energy inside this fist-sized spiritual stone, with an unknown degree of richness, is several times stronger than the previous miscellaneous spiritual stones. I feel almost the same as the spiritual stone I used for cultivation before. But the quality of this piece is at least 10 times that of the previous spiritual stone. All the reserves of our Jiang family are only over 100 spirit stones, and they have all been given to my cheap father for cultivation. But now, just a few fist-sized spirit stones are enough to match all the spirit stone assets of our Jiang family. Upon seeing this, Ruoan chuckled slightly. Good guy, on the surface of this miscellaneous spiritual stone in front of him, there are more than 10 fist-sized spiritual stones, as well as hundreds of pigeon egg-sized spiritual stones. These things were originally just powder on miscellaneous spiritual stones, but now they have transformed into hundreds or even thousands of real spiritual stones. It's really amazing. The spiritual stones needed for cultivation are already scarce, and with this box, I'm afraid there won't be a shortage of spiritual stones again from now on. After discovering this feature, Jiang Ruoan was simply inexplicably excited. Moreover, this ability is just one of the abilities of the box, let alone the ability to monitor. In the future, I may discover more and stronger abilities. God doesn't disappoint me. While excited, Jiang Ruoan crushed the miscellaneous spiritual stones and removed all of them. After a series of operations, a total of 28 fist-sized large spirit stones and over 800 pigeon egg-sized small spirit stones were collected. I really got rich now. Just this miscellaneous spirit stone has contributed more than 10 times the storage of the Jiang family. Chapter 4. Guests from the Mansion. You are listening at mouthful.audio. I just don't know, what is the cultivation effect of this great spirit stone? In my memory, once I hold the little spirit stone in my hand, I feel refreshed, with smooth qi and blood, and a significant increase in cultivation speed. Now Jiang Ruoan took out a large spiritual stone and put it in his hand. In an instant, the qi and blood in his body began to boil, and even his breath could feel the rich spiritual energy. This feeling. The whole body's qi and blood are rolling, and the effect is no different from the previous spirit stone. Clear spirit technique, activate. A breath was released from Jiang Ruoan's dantian, and then Jiang Ruoan's body greedily devoured the surrounding spiritual energy. A refreshing feeling like mint quickly spread throughout his body, making Jiang Ruoan, who had just tasted cultivation, extremely comfortable. Not fast enough, still not fast enough. After a few breaths, 6 crisp sounds came. Jiang Ruoan's realm, like a natural breakthrough, has reached the 6-fold realm of the day after tomorrow. Comfortable, so comfortable. Is this the feeling of cultivation? It's just evolution. After breaking through the realm, Jiang Ruoan's momentum also strengthened a bit, and the previous haze was swept away. I only used a small spirit stone a month ago and it took at least half a month to break through the realm, but now I am breaking through it all at once. The efficiency of cultivation has not only increased several times, but also dozens of times. Nowadays, this aristocratic family may not necessarily be stable, and one still needs to have a strong cultivation. At least in these 3 Fuqing cities, one must also have innate 9 levels to have the power of self-protection. He was originally a down-to-earth and hard-working person, but once he set his goals, Jiang Ruoan immediately became addicted to them. So, half a month hurriedly passed. On this day, in Jiang Ruoan's mansion, 9 crisp sounds burst out from his body, echoing throughout the entire courtyard. 9 levels the day after tomorrow. Finally, we have reached the pinnacle of the acquired realm, and next is the innate realm. The cultivation realm refers to the first 3 realms as the 3 realms of building foundations. Among them, the acquired realm cultivates the body, the innate realm cultivates the qi, and the building foundation realm creates the foundation for cultivation. Jiang Ruoan has now reached the 9th level of heaven after birth, and his physical body has reached perfection. He also needs a strand of innate spiritual energy to integrate into his body in order to successfully break through to the innate realm. Innate spiritual energy. Maybe you can ask your grandfather about it. Dong dong. At this moment, a dull bell suddenly rang inside the courtyard. 2 bells ringing. Is this a visitor? Jiang Ruoan muttered to himself, since he also has something to do, why not go and see what the situation is? Young master, second master, please go to the front hall. The voice of the servant came from outside the door, and Jiang Ruoan didn't delay either. He just glanced inside the box and found that the mansion was indeed quite lively. In addition, in a hidden corner, a breath that was different from half a month ago is gradually becoming stronger. Father should be breaking through now, right? Jiang Ruoan didn't think much and quickly went out after collecting the box. Soon, Jiang Ruoan arrived at the front hall of the Jiang family, which was specifically designed to receive guests. Mr. Jiang Tianyun was sitting upright in a high position, chatting with a middle-aged man next to him with a smile on his face. As Jiang Ruoan approached, Jiang Tianyun immediately shifted his attention. Shaoan, come over quickly. Let me introduce you to your uncle Jiang. He is the president of the Sanfu City Chamber of Commerce, and even the lord of the city will give you Uncle Jiang a thin face. I have met Uncle Jiang. Jiang Ruoan immediately stepped forward, politely clasped his fists and saluted, and quickly collected information about this person in his mind. In my memory, the relationship between President Jiang of the Chamber of Commerce and the Jiang family, it doesn't seem to matter much. I haven't dealt with much before. You are really a talented person. But don't listen to your grandpa's nonsense. How can I make someone's face so big? It is the Chamber of Commerce behind awesome. President Jiang waved his hand and nodded in satisfaction as he stared at Jiang Ruoan, feeling somewhat uncomfortable. At this moment, Jiang Ruoan noticed that there was still a petite girl standing behind President Jiang, curiously looking at Fengzheng. He, President Jiang is too modest. Your Chamber of Commerce controls 1/3 of the business in Sanfu City, and you may have more spirit stones in your hands than the city lord, Jiang Tianyun said with a smile. Be cautious, the lord of the city is unfathomable. How can we compare it? President Jiang waved his hand and immediately denied it. Jiang Tianyun smiled knowingly, but he didn't care. It was the other party's visit today that surprised him quite a bit. Counting the days, today is a crucial milestone for his son's breakthrough. Is it difficult for the other party to also know the news? This is not good news. After thinking for a while, Jiang Tianyun took the initiative to ask. President Jiang suddenly visited my Jiang family today. I don't know what's going on. Actually, it's not a big deal. Does Mr. Jiang know about the Fengyan auction? The heroes of the world, the fate of the times. It is rumored that there is a mysterious organization selling treasures from all over the world, but how could I not know it? Jiang Tianyun nodded. The Fengyan auction is a top powerful force, even if he is in Sanfu City, he has heard of it. I came today to bid farewell to the invitation for the Fengyan auction. President Jiang spoke and took out a gilded invitation with a Fengyan icon from his pocket, handing it to Jiang Tianyun in front of him. The Fengyan auction will come to Sanfu City in a few days. Mr. Jiang can represent the Jiang family and participate in this auction. With the reputation of the Fengyan auction, perhaps he can also find a suitable foundation for Mr. Jiang. That's all for me. Thank you very much, President Jiang, for your kind words. Jiang Tianyun smiled and politely took the invitation from Chairman Jiang's hand. Besides, I have another heartless request. Oh. President Jiang said directly. Jiang Tianyun accepted the invitation, and at this moment, he was in a good mood, so he naturally didn't care about it at all. Upon hearing this, President Jiang didn't hide either. After a dry cough, a hint of guilt appeared on his face. Cough, when it comes to being a father, I feel a bit ashamed. My daughter is already in her 20s and still unmarried. I heard that the noble young master has not found a good match, so today. Jiang is here to propose marriage. Chapter 5. Changing face is faster than flipping books. You are listening at novelfull.audio. I'm going. Are you coming towards me? No wonder you were staring at me with a squint just now. Jiang Ruoan's gaze froze and instinctively turned to the young girl behind President Jiang. Just a quick glance earlier, now upon closer inspection, I realized that the girl had a snow-white face and a slender figure. At this moment, she lowered her head and brushed 2 blushes on her face, feeling extremely shy. Upon seeing this, Jiang Ruoan was also overjoyed and went to see his wife off. He didn't expect such a good thing to happen again. President Jiang's daughter is beautiful and wise. I have heard of this before. It should be our Jiang family who spoke up about it. After knowing the other party's purpose, Jiang Tianyun's attitude also improved a lot. If he could marry the other party, the momentum of their 2 families could even compete with the city lord. Mr. Jiang has praised me falsely in hopes that my virtuous nephew will not despise my daughter. President Jiang gave a relaxed smile, and the atmosphere in the front hall suddenly became harmonious and strange. Even Jiang Ruoan, who had thick skin, felt a bit embarrassed. Boom! Suddenly, a violent vibration came from within the mansion. Oh! My son is going to break through. Jiang Tianyun immediately stood up, with an indescribable excitement on his face. How many years have passed, and his Jiang family is finally going to have another great cultivator who builds the foundation. President Jiang also stood up and looked out with anticipation. Jianji, once successful, the entire layout of Sanfu City will undergo a drastic change. Fortunately, he is a chicken thief and has come to the Jiang family to make a bet early today. Jiang Ruoan was even more curious as he walked out of the front hall and looked in the direction of the sound and movement. Master Jianji, just the sound of the breakthrough has spread throughout the entire Jiangfu. I wonder what kind of charm there will be after the breakthrough. For someone who has never seen such elegance before, this kind of movement is fatal to his attraction. Not far away, an auspicious cloud slowly rises. Shangyun Huawu, as long as this step is completed, Brother Jiang will be able to break through to the realm of building foundations. Congratulations to Mr. Jiang. President Jiang arrived behind Jiang Ruoan at some point, with a hint of emotion on his face. Same joy, same joy. Jiang Tianyun looked at Shangyun in the distance with an excited expression that was beyond words. Within the Jiang mansion, countless members of the clan were excitedly looking towards the direction of the auspicious clouds, which represented their family leader, the expectations of the Jiang family, and the objects of worship for all of them. During this period of time, they have been working hard to produce a strong foundation builder for the Jiang mansion. Today, they are finally about to bloom and bear fruit. In Sanfu City, there are also several figures paying attention to the changes in Jiangfu. How are you preparing? Don't worry, Master. This time, we will unite with the Sun family and ensure that we can respond promptly, regardless of whether Jiang Qingyan is successful or not. The person nodded and murmured in the direction of Jiang Mansion. Jiang Qingyan, don't blame me for not being empathetic. You forced me to do all of this. Then I looked at the team in the mansion that was preparing for the wedding gift. It was the team prepared by Jiang Qingyan for his success, and as for the failure, it was another team. Next, let's see which team the Jiang family can welcome. In the sky, auspicious clouds surged, and under the attention of countless people, a sudden mutation occurred. The auspicious cloud, which should have been transformed, seems to have split apart directly due to insufficient spiritual energy. That strong aura completely weakened in this moment, turning into nothing. Qingyan. Jiang Tianyun suddenly fell silent and disappeared into place, running towards the direction of Shangyun just now. Did it fail? Jiang Ruoan was also stunned. The Jiang family concentrated all their resources to supply a breakthrough, but surprisingly all failed. The great cultivator of Jianji realm is indeed not so easy to achieve. President Jiang frowned on the side, his thoughts constantly flashing, not knowing what he was thinking. Even the blush on the face of the girl beside him disappeared a lot. Within the Jiang mansion, a wave of lamentation echoed, and everyone was frugal in order to make this breakthrough, but ultimately failed. The sadness instantly spread throughout the entire Jiang mansion. In the city of Sanfu, there was once again silence, and the teams that were originally prepared to go to the congratulatory ceremony had also stopped beating their flags and drums. After a strange silence of half a burning incense, Jiang Tianyun returned from the original path and returned to Chairman Jiang's side, with a smile on his face once again. I didn't prepare enough, which made President Jiang laugh. Fortunately, my son is fine. After a little rest, he will be able to return to his peak someday. Breaking through to become a great cultivator is not an easy task, and it is fortunate that Master Jiang can be unharmed. President Jiang's face once again wore a standard smile. No problem, let's continue discussing the matter of marriage. Jiang Tianyun knew in his heart that now that Jiang Qingyan's breakthrough had failed, the Jiang family needed this alliance even more to consolidate their position in Sanfu City. At the same time, he also needs the resources in the hands of the Chamber of Commerce to quickly restore Jiang Qingyan's strength. Of course, there's no problem. Surprisingly, President Jiang did not refuse, but remained enthusiastic as always. Seeing this, Jiang Tianyun breathed a sigh of relief. However, President Jiang's words changed and he continued. However, the ugly words come first, and there is one thing that I hope Mr. Jiang understands. Jiang Tianyun's heart sank. Marriage was originally about exchanging benefits, but now that the other party has offered conditions, he can still accept them. However, he didn't expect the other party's expression to be so fast. Jiang Qingyan's breakthrough failed and his cultivation was in deficit. He needed a large amount of spirit stones to make up for it and quickly recover to the peak. The Jiang family has just produced a large amount of spiritual stones, and now the spiritual stones are in serious deficit, so they can only rely on the Chamber of Commerce to provide relief. No matter what conditions President Jiang proposes, he will grit his teeth and accept them. Actually, it's not a big problem either. Jiang had a bad fortune and gave birth to 2 daughters. The eldest daughter has already been married, and I don't want my Jiang family to lose their family's love. So, I hope your son can join my Jiang family and change his name to Jiang Ruoan. How about that? What? President Jiang's tone was frivolous, but Jiang Ruoan was taken aback, and Jiang Tianyun had an angry expression on his face. Are you saying that if my family wants Ruoan to invade the Jiang family and change their surname to Izu, then kneel down as the ancestors of the Jiang family and burn incense and worship for them all their lives? Will they become your Jiang family's son.in.law? That's right, I'll make it clear. I'm here to propose marriage, and besides, your Jiang family doesn't have just one grandson, so it doesn't matter if you have one less. Get lost. Before President Jiang could finish speaking, Jiang Tianyun roared angrily, it was simply a great shame to his Jiang family. Jiang Tianyun, you need to think carefully. Your Jiang family's situation at the moment may not be much better. If you speak well and are angry, we can still talk. If you have such an attitude, I think who can save you? President Jiang smiled instead of being angry and regained his aloof attitude as the president of the Chamber of Commerce. Now it's time for the Jiang family to ask him for help. Jiang Tianyun's expression froze and his brow furrowed. Jiang Qingyan's breakthrough failed, and the Jiang family's resource reserves were depleted. Unexpectedly, it suddenly became their lifeline. There's no need for an outsider to worry. Now, the meaning in my grandfather's words is very clear, you can go now. Just as Jiang Tianyun was hesitating, Jiang Ruoan suddenly spoke up and decisively refused President Jiang. Okay, Jiang Ruoan, right. He is indeed young and energetic. Don't worry, I will patiently wait for you to kneel down and beg me. President Jiang snorted coldly and left the Jiang family with his daughter. In fact, it is not false that he wants to marry the Jiang family. If the Jiang family is strong, he will marry his daughter. If the Jiang family is weak, he will invite Jiang Ruoan to marry him. And he already has a good impression of Jiang Ruoan. As for Jiang Ruoan's attitude towards him, he doesn't care at all he wants is a place, right? Occupying someone's family property and giving them control, but if they become famous, it's completely different. I just didn't expect that the Jiang family's attitude would be so tough, unwilling to bow down. If Jiang Qingyan fails to break through, his Jiang family will definitely suffer. It won't be long before the Jiang family will once again seek his help. Shaoan, you've been wronged. After Chairman Jiang left, Jiang Tianyun said wearily. It's okay, he will regret it, Jiang Ruoan sneered. Jiang Tianyun wanted to say something, but in the end, it turned into a sigh. Let's go and see how your father is doing. Chapter 6. Jiang Qingyan. You are listening at mouthful.audio. Jiang Mansion, in the Chamber of Secrets. A middle-aged man sat decadent on a stone pier, his face haggard, his eyes lifeless, and there were still blood stains on the corners of his mouth. Qingyan, how are you feeling? Jiang Tianyun walked out of the secret room and looked at Jiang Qingyan in front of him with a caring expression on his face. Jiang Ruoan also looked at the man in front of him. This was the first time he had seen his cheap father. At this moment, Jiang Qingyan is completely different from the heroic figure of Wei An in Jiang Ruoan's impression. It is more like a male lion that has been defeated and driven away from the lion pack, extremely decadent. Father, I failed. Looking at Jiang Tianyun, Jiang Qingyan immediately stood up from the stone mound and looked at him with a guilty face. I rushed forward and didn't want to miss this opportunity. I tried to use the sword embryo as a foundation, depleting the family's spiritual stone reserves, but in the end, my efforts fell through. All of this is my fault, it's me who caused harm to the Jiang family. Jiang Qingyan is well aware of the cost of his failure to break through with the spirit stone, and the entire Jiang family will pay the price for his recklessness in the future. It's okay, as long as I can survive. As long as my old bone is still there, the Jiang family won't collapse. Jiang Tianyun just lightly patted Jiang Qingyan's shoulder without saying any more words. Jiang Qingyan is the fate of the entire Jiang family, and he was willing to give it a try. Now that he has broken through and failed, it is fate and there is nothing to say. It's just that Ruoan has suffered a lot. Upon hearing this, Jiang Qingyan also let out a sigh, and his guilty gaze fell on Jiang Ruoan beside him. His breakthrough this time concentrated the resources of the entire clan, including the spirit stones prepared for Jiang Ruoan's cultivation. Now that the breakthrough has failed, the spirit stones have naturally not returned. Ruoan, I feel ashamed of my father for treating you. Ha! Halfway through, Jiang Qingyan's gaze froze, and then he looked at Jiang Ruoan in surprise. Did you break through to the 9th level the day after tomorrow? 9 times the day after tomorrow. Jiang Tianyun was also taken aback. Looking back at Jiang Ruoan, he realized that the aura on Jiang Ruoan's body was actually much thicker than before. I had a small chance before my child was born, so I luckily broke through. Jiang Ruoan has no intention of concealing it, but is planning to take this opportunity to reveal the matter of the lincture. He will only conceal the matter of the box. Good and good, truly my son Ruoan. This opportunity and talent are not inferior to when I was a father. Jiang Qingyan did not ask what the chance was, but instead added a bit of joy. They are all good sons of my Jiang family. Jiang Tianyun also swept away the haze on his face, and his joy towards Jiang Ruoan grew even stronger than before. Jiang Ruoan saw this and knew it was time to speak. Father, there is something unknown about your child. What is the reason for your breakthrough failure this time? I'm too arrogant, Jiang Qingyan sighed and continued. I originally thought that with my understanding of the Qingling technique, I could forcibly refine magical tools as the foundation, but I didn't count it. The spiritual energy required for magical tools was too much, and more than 100 spiritual stones were not enough. At least 300 spiritual stones were needed. In the end, my success was on the verge of failure, and my own cultivation also fell significantly. But it's okay. After I adjust myself, I will personally go to the Chamber of Commerce. With the network I have accumulated before, I can still raise more than 10 spirit stones for my recovery and cultivation. At that time, my Jiang family will still be that Jiang family. Jiang Qingyan's breakthrough failed, his cultivation was damaged, and he needed a lot of spiritual energy to recover to his previous peak state. Jiang Tianyun smiled awkwardly at the words. Qingyan, there's something you may not know yet. The business association is out of the question. Why? Jiang Qingyan was taken aback and said with some confusion. Jiang Tianyun only then told Jiang Qingyan the whole story of today's incident. Bastard, that person surnamed Jiang is bullying too much. My son is so talented that he wants to be his son. Law, and he deserves it too. Jiang Qingyan let out a furious shout. Although Jiang Ruoan was not his only son, he also took great care of him. How could he possibly do this heinous act of changing his surname from Yizu? It seems that the Chamber of Commerce is here to take advantage of the situation, Jiang Ruoan said with almost certainty. Just why would he demand to be his son.In? Law. Do you really like yourself? Shaking his head, Jiang Ruoan turned his gaze back to Jiang Qingyan. Father, is the fundamental reason for your breakthrough failure this time just due to the lack of spirit stones? Jiang Ruoan quickly changed the topic as he saw the atmosphere gradually awkward. Ruoan, don't speak so loudly. Spirit stones are the foundation of everything, and the lack of spirit stones is the biggest problem. Jiang Qingyan frowned upon hearing this. Although our Jiang family is a noble family in Sanfu City, we only have control over a miniature spiritual mine. In a month, we only managed to survive with less than 20 spiritual stones and dozens of miscellaneous spiritual stones. That's it. We also need to support a large family for cultivation, and there's not much left in our daily lives. The more than 100 spirit stones needed for this breakthrough were all accumulated in our teeth for several years. So, often these are not big problems when it comes to comprehending martial arts, and spiritual stones are the biggest problem when it comes to his own spiritual mind. Jiang Qingyan couldn't help but sigh. If he could get more and better spiritual stones, why would his Jiang family be so far away? But the best spiritual mine near Sanfu City has long been occupied by the city lord. Without becoming a great cultivator in the realm of foundation building, one can never expect to obtain better resources. Jiang Tianyun, standing beside him, nodded in agreement. If there were enough spiritual stones, he wouldn't just stay in the innate realm and stagnate. Since that's the case, the small opportunity one had before happened to help my father get through this crisis. Speaking, Jiang Ruoan took out a spiritual stone from the storage bag. Upon seeing this, Jiang Qingyan was momentarily stunned, followed by ecstasy. With over a dozen spirit stones, he was able to barely overcome the current difficulties. But soon, Jiang Ruoan took out the second, third. The spirit stone was piled up like a small hill in front of the three people, as if it were free of money. Roughly estimated, there are at least 800 spirit stones here. I'll go, Ruoan. Is this your little chance? It's clearly a big chance to help the family rise. Looking at the rolling spirit stones on the ground, Jiang Qingyan was stunned. I've seen a ghost, I've lived for 100 years, and I've never seen so many spirit stones before. In your eyes, this is actually a small chance. Jiang Tianyun was also shocked. That's right, I don't think that person surnamed Jiang could have so many spiritual stones. Ruoan, tell Dad where this came from, which expert gave it to. We can remember his kindness in the future. Shocked, Jiang Qingyan also reminded him. Father, it's hard to say. I see, I understand. However, since this is an opportunity for you to cultivate, if you rashly use it for your family, will it offend the other party? Jiang Qingyan believed that Jiang Ruoan had received a gift from an expert. If it weren't for giving Jiang Ruoan his own flowers, then giving the flowers to the family would have angered the expert, but rather backfired. It's okay, I have something bigger here. Jiang Ruoan casually took out another large spirit stone, and Jiang Qingyan and his companions immediately widened their eyes. This. I've seen this fist-sized spirit stone once in the small spirit mine under the Lord's command, and now it's the second time. Jiang Qingyan was completely convinced and could easily pull out a large spirit stone, so the opponent's strength was definitely not weak. In addition, with nearly 800 small spirit stones from before, the expert behind Jiang Ruoan is at least a senior cultivator in the field of foundation construction. Are these spirit stones enough for my father to break through to the foundation building realm? Of course not a problem, just give me 300 spirit stones. With the experience from last time, I can break through the foundation building realm in a few days, Qingyan said with almost certain joy. When I break through to the foundation building realm and seize the previously discovered secrets, my Jiang family will surely be able to go further. Haha, Ruoan is really a blessing for my Jiang family, Jiang Tianyun burst into laughter. Jiang Ruoan is also refreshing. Hidden. This should be the reason why my father took the risk of seclusion before, right? Jiang Ruoan was about to ask when the jade pendant on Jiang Tianyan's body suddenly shone with a few rays of light. Jiang Tianyun and Jiang Qingyan's faces were clearly ugly. What's wrong? Jiang Ruoan said strangely. Something happened. Chapter 7. Making immediate decisions. You are listening at mouthful.audio. After leaving enough spiritual stones for Jiang Qingyan, Jiang Ruoan and Jiang Tianyun stopped disturbing Jiang Qingyan and quickly left the secret room. Just as soon as he walked out of the secret room, a member of the clan hurriedly ran up with a jade butterfly. Report, second master, urgently report the spirit mine. Jiang Tianyun took the jade butterfly and immediately a video of a person's figure popped up on it. Jiang Qingyan also looked over curiously. This jade butterfly was like a photo-taking machine, capable of transmitting distant sounds and even lifelike images. In an emergency situation, a large number of unidentified individuals suddenly appeared outside the spirit mine, suspected to have a large number of innate experts. Speaking of this, the sound and visuals suddenly interrupted, obviously interrupted by someone. These bastards dare to take advantage of the fire and rob. Jiang Tianyun was furious and could no longer suppress his anger. He punched the rockery nearby, shattering it into pieces to vent his anger. When something happened on my father's side, the spirit mine was attacked in less than 15 minutes. This is clearly not a coincidence, it seems to be a premeditated conspiracy. Jiang Ruoan also had a gloomy face, really treating the Jiang family like soft persimmons. The situation is urgent, we may need to hurry to the mining site, otherwise we may not be able to make it in time. Listening to Jiang Ruoan's words, Jiang Tianyun looked at his grandson in surprise. His grandson's reaction was even faster and calmer than his. Okay, pass the order and escort all members of the first and second teams. Follow me to reinforce the mining site, while the fourth team stays at the mansion and observes the changes. Obey me. The Jiang family has 4 escort teams, each with more than 20 people. Those who can enter the escort team must be at least 7 times the day after tomorrow, and they are basically the elite of the Jiang family. Previously, there were only 3 teams of more than 20 people guarding the mining site. This time, when we transferred 1 or 2 teams to go, we can see Jiang Tianyan's level of anxiety. In less than half a burning incense stick time, the first and second teams of people gathered and, under the leadership of Jiang Tianyun, went to the mining site outside the city. Jiang Ruoan naturally followed along. The 9-fold realm of the day after tomorrow, even within the escort team, is a backbone strength that is enough to keep up with the speed of the team. In just 15 minutes, everyone left Sanfu City. Meanwhile, the news of their departure also spread throughout the major families in the city. In the distance, you can vaguely see flames shining everywhere and thick smoke rising. It is obvious that the situation at the mine is extremely bad. Accelerate and don't let the thieves break through the mine. Jiang Tianyan's eyes turned red, and he suddenly accelerated his speed. He grabbed Jiang Ruoan and ran towards the mine. Although he was old, his innate cultivation of 9 levels was solid. In a burst of energy, he came to the vicinity of the mine in just a few breaths. At first glance, one could see dozens of people crazily attacking the front of the mine, but one could still see that the Jiang family was not retreating, but fiercely resisting. Boom! Suddenly, a burst of flames exploded. Inside the mine, a figure burning with flames rushed out. Come on, thieves, come up here and see if Grandpa Jiang is afraid of you. The man had a magnificent aura, and his true flame energy was incredibly strong, forcing more than 10 people, including several innate strong ones who dared not approach the mining site at all. Dragging him down, he didn't reach the perfect state of the 9 heavens in heaven, and he couldn't hold on for long with the forceful burst of true qi, said the leader in a high voice among the masked people. Dare not come up, a bunch of cowardly rats. In the flames, the man's wild voice could be heard. It's by Lai. Jiang Tianyun watched this scene, but his eyes turned red. The man who was shining with flames was his nephew Jiang Bailey, whose cultivation level was only 7 times higher than that of Xiantian. At this moment, he forcefully burst out of true qi and blocked several Xiantian's attacks alone. Uncle Bai Lai. Jiang Bailey is the captain of the 3rd team. Even he rushed out and intertwined with the enemy, but the battle has reached such an intense level. At this moment, Jiang Bailey was like a flamethrower, constantly releasing flames with astonishing power. But Jiang Ruoan knew that it was not flames, but true qi. Jiang Bailey refined a mouthful of innate spiritual energy in his innate realm, like a blazing flame. He never expected it to be so brave. Thieves, don't even think of running away. At this moment, Jiang Tianyun was furious and unleashed his innate cultivation of 9 levels without reservation. The innate 9 levels are the top level of the innate realm, and the innate spiritual energy in the body has long been refined to a perfect state. Jiang Ruoan on the side only felt a chill all over his body, as if he had fallen into an ice cellar. It's Grandpa's frost true qi. Just the escaping cold makes it difficult for cultivators like Jiang Ruoan to resist. If they confront each other head-on, they are not enemies of unity at all. Fortunately, the chill only disappeared in an instant, and Jiang Tianyun had already entered the battle group at this moment. With his formidable combat prowess, coupled with the immense power of his uncle and nephew, he was able to directly suppress the attacking enemy and make them unable to lift their heads. Although Jiang Ruoan had an advantage, he furrowed his brows and faintly sensed something was amiss. It's a bit wrong. With just this level of strength, how dare you invade our Jiang family mine? Taking advantage of no one's attention, Jiang Ruoan quickly found a higher hidden location and took out the box from the storage bag. Inside the box, the situation within a range of several hundred meters around him is clearly displayed. At the entrance of the mine, Jiang Tianyun and Jiang Bailey's 3 teams were engaged in battle with the invading enemy, Zheng Han. Most of the people inside the mine had reached the entrance. Where exactly is the problem? Through the box, Jiang Ruoan discovered that he could actually see through the mountain and clearly see the situation inside the mine. There was silence inside the mine, except for the secret passage set up by the Jiang family inside the mine. In the underground passage of the mine, Jiang Ruoan could see dozens of people sneaking into the cave, almost reaching the core area of the mine. How could there be someone? No, it's a secret way. Looking at the position in front of the mine cave, these guys have no intention of fighting Jiang Bailey. It seems more like delaying time. A team of people, come with me. At this moment, the members of the 1st and 2nd teams who had received reinforcements arrived one after another. Upon hearing Jiang Ruoan's orders, they all looked over with confusion. Young Master, our 2nd Master and Captain Bai Lai engaged in a fierce battle with the local authorities. Just follow my orders, the 1st team will follow me, and the 2nd team will seal the entrance to the mine and not allow any unidentified people to rush out. Jiang Ruoan didn't have time to explain and chose to order directly. A team of Changjiang Wanshi looked at Jiang Ruoan, knowing that the young master's importance was almost second only to the mine. After struggling for a while, he decisively ordered, "Follow me," reinforced the young master. After receiving the support of a group of people, Jiang Ruoan quickly arrived at the hidden passage of the mine. The mine of the Jiang family is originally a miniature spiritual mine, and the distance between the secret passage and the mine is only a kilometer away. For Jiang Ruoan, who is 9 times heavy the day after tomorrow, it only takes more than a minute. Here we go, hold on to this entrance. Outside the secret passage, Jiang Ruoan once again gave an order to the first team. Chapter 8. Is there still a master? You are listening at mouthful.audio. Is it a secret passage? Jiang Wancher was slightly surprised. Only a few people in the Jiang family knew about this secret passage, and he didn't expect Jiang Ruoan to know it too. That's right. Little nephew, there are very few people who know this secret way, even the Jiang family doesn't know more than 10 people. How could the enemy appear here? Jiang Wancher frowned. Although the battle situation in the front cave was even more intense, this little nephew Jiang Ruoan actually took them to the basically deserted dark cave. Uncle Wan, keep your people hidden. If anyone comes out later, just give me a full blow. But, little nephew. Execute the command, Uncle Wan. Jiang Wancher still had doubts, but Jiang Ruoan no longer gave him a chance to refute them. Due to the other party's identity, they could only obey orders, and more than 20 people quickly ambushed at the entrance of the secret passage. In his heart, he was extremely resentful. At least he was also the captain of the escort team, experienced. If it weren't for Jiang Ruoan's prestigious status, how could he obey his orders? Anyway, let's just play with the young master, and guarding Jiang Ruoan is also part of their responsibility. Even if Jiang Wancher has countless grievances in his heart, he can only suppress them in his heart at this moment, and it is difficult to vent them. After about a stick of incense, a faint sound of footsteps could be heard from the originally silent secret passage. Someone has come out. Jiang Wan, who was born with 6 levels of martial arts, not only had a high cultivation level, but also had a higher hearing than ordinary people. Naturally, he was the first to discover the movements in the secret passage. Everyone quickly restrained their breath and increased their vigilance. At the entrance of the cave, several black figures quickly emerged. Surprisingly, they are all innate experts. Jiang Wan was surprised, and the 7 or 8 people who came out were all innate experts. It was obvious that this was one of the opponent's main forces. He instinctively glanced at Jiang Ruoan next to him, whose face was calm and his eyes were deep, as if he had already anticipated it. My little nephew is really well prepared. Leaving only one idea, Jiang Ruoan on the side gave the order. Kill. More than 20 Jiang family guards, who had been ambushed for a long time, immediately rushed out and unleashed a brilliant burst of true energy, forming a strangulation force on several people. Not good, there's an ambush. What's going on? How did the Jiang family discover us? Those mysterious people were suddenly attacked, and the entire team immediately became disorganized. In the midst of panic, several people were killed by the attack. Let's split up. A man in black let out a roar, and a burst of true energy burst out from his palms, sweeping over the Jiang family guards like a tornado, immediately injuring several people. Quick retreat, it's innate eightfold. Jiang Wancher's face was surprised, not expecting such a tricky person to appear. Xiantian Yechong is already the top figure in a family, but unexpectedly, he was sent out to raid the mine. The Jiang family is just like that. Today, let's give you a break and we'll withdraw. This innate eightfold master obviously did not want to be fond of fighting. After intimidating the Jiang family guards, the first choice was to escape. My Jiang family mine, actually you can come and leave if you want. Jiang Ruoan let out a cold snort and silently retreated outside the battlefield, staring at the dozen or so innate experts who had escaped from the secret passage. He spread out his robe to cover his body and took out the box, his eyes filled with solemnity. The mysterious box is of great significance, and Jiang Ruoan will not expose it casually, so some tricks are needed. I want to leave, but I want to see who can stop me. The innate eightfold master obviously ignored Jiang Ruoan's threat and broke through the encirclement of the Qingyan family, ready to escape. The other innate experts also followed behind him, preparing to break through together. Not good, these guys are going to run away. Damn it, how could there be a master with an innate eightfold ability? Jiang Wanshi gritted his teeth as he was entangled with another cultivator with innate 6 levels, having no time to care about that master with innate 8 levels. I can only watch helplessly as the other party escapes their encirclement. As he was about to break through the encirclement, suddenly, a great force seemed to emerge out of thin air. The innate 8th level cultivator, who was about to escape, was suddenly pushed back and fell heavily onto the mountain outside the secret passage, as if he had lost weight. Under one blow, it was dealt a serious injury directly. How could that be? Does the Jiang family still have experts? He looked ahead in disbelief, the invisible pressure that even as a master with innate 8 levels, he was powerless to resist. Bang bang. Then, under the shocked gaze of everyone, several masked people were thrown over and directly hit the mountain. Those with high cultivation are fine, just seriously injured. If their cultivation is not enough, they will turn into meat sauce with this blow. Is this the expert that my nephew secretly hired? Jiang Wanshi was also extremely shocked. No wonder this little nephew was so confident before. It seems that it was because there were high-level people behind him who helped him. At this moment, in the distance of the battlefield, Jiang Ruoan's hand once again reached into the box covered by his robe. Undoubtedly, he is a naturally strong person, much harder than the stones in my yard. But it's just a little harder than a stone. After several consecutive attacks, any masked person who emerged from the secret passage was either seriously injured or smashed into flesh and mud. Quickly, retreat into the underworld. The remaining masked people dared not continue to break through, but could only choose to retreat back into the secret passage. Chase, they are seriously injured, don't let them run away. Obey me. For some reason, looking at his little nephew following behind him, Jiang Wanshi suddenly felt a sense of security burst out, and he chased into the secret passage with his people. Watching Jiang Wanshi and others chase after them, Jiang Ruoan did not choose to pursue them. Instead, he turned from outside the secret passage to the direction of the main entrance of the mine. At the main entrance of the mine, due to Jiang Qingyan's participation in the battle, the masked man's attack could no longer splash any water. But strangely, even if they were unable to attack the mine, these people still did not retreat. I think you guys are really not afraid of death, these dog things. Jiang Qingyan's moves were wide open and wide closed, and his cold frost true energy easily shook the two of them away. His angry expression on his face did not diminish at all. Grandfather, since they don't want to leave, let's leave them all. At some point, Jiang Ruoan appeared on the mountain and shouted loudly to Jiang Tianyun at the foot of the mountain. Okay, good grandson, Grandpa will show you today how powerful the full power of the innate perfect realm can be. True meaning. Frost extreme realm. In an instant, the temperature at the entrance of the mine suddenly dropped, and within a range of several hundred meters, a cold frost condensed out of thin air. At such a temperature, even those born strong feel a slight tremble. Not good, that old guy is going to work hard. Why haven't those guys inside finished their work yet? We can't wait any longer, we all have to explain it here. As soon as Jiang Tianyun burst out of his true energy, the masked people immediately felt a sense of retreat, and besides, they themselves couldn't attack. I want to leave, it's too late. The masked people want to leave, but Jiang Ruoan doesn't intend to give them a chance. Under the cover of the robe, the mysterious box was once again worshipped. Chapter 9. Making another move. You are listening at mouthful.audio. Today is considered lucky for your Jiang family. Brothers, withdraw first. Among the masked people, there came a voice of arrogance. As he spoke, his gaze turned to worry as he looked inside the mine. Until now, there has been no response, and most of the people inside are having problems. But now, it's not the time to give him the opportunity to hesitate. If he continues to delay, Jiang Tianyun will come and fight. Not everyone can resist the extreme cold frost with that hand. Where to escape? Jiang Tianyun let out a furious shout. Just now, he had already realized that the man was the one in charge among the crowd. Although the other party's cultivation is not as good as his, there is also a congenital eightfold, and the difference between the two is not very significant. If the other party is not fond of war, he is completely unsure of keeping them. I want to leave, old man. You can't stop me. The masked man sneered, not intending to entangle, but his true energy burst out and he turned around, ready to leave. Just a few steps after turning around, the whole person froze in place. The once arrogant figure, now as if imprisoned in place, is unable to move. What's going on? At this moment, the masked person only felt a large hand invisibly imprisoning him, making him unable to move at all. Help! What's going on? Help me! While he was imprisoned, those masked people who had originally planned to escape were now thrown back to the entrance of the mine out of thin air, as if they were under the control of a mysterious force. Several innate strong individuals, who had not yet escaped far, were all thrown back to their positions at the entrance of the mine. The masked leader, on the other hand, could only watch helplessly as his own people were taken back, while he had no choice. As a master with innate 8 levels, how could he not understand what exactly happened? How could it be like this? Do your Jiang family have the protection of the great cultivator who built the foundation? Being able to silently suppress him and easily deal with other innate masters, he couldn't think of any other reasons except for the great cultivator who built the foundation. Idiot, do you really think my Jiang family is a soft persimmon? Jiang Tianyun snorted coldly, and his frost true chi burst out at the target. Without resistance, the target was frozen into ice. At the same time, his gaze vaguely turned to Jiang Ruoan behind him. It seems that I guessed right. The other party not only gave Ruoan a huge opportunity, but also arranged for at least one great cultivator to build the foundation to protect Xiao En's path. He could guess that this was definitely the work of Jiang Ruoan, or rather, it came from the hands of the person who gave Jiang Ruoan the opportunity. I am certain in my heart that a great cultivator from the foundation building realm will come specifically to protect Xiaoan. It is truly a big move. Grandfather, someone has come out of the cave. A loud roar came, and Jiang Tianyun turned around and indeed noticed a commotion coming from the cave. Unexpectedly came out of the cave. These bastards. True meaning, Frost Extreme Realm. Since Jiang Tianyun has already put in all his efforts, he has no intention of keeping his hand. His first move is a killing move. What? Inside the mine, the masked man was chased all the way and fled in a panic. He had intended to sneak a surprise attack outside, but unexpectedly, he was caught off guard by someone outside. In an instant, the entrance of the mine was covered in frost, and several black-clothed people transformed directly into ice sculptures. The masked person with an innate 8-fold mask originally wanted to resist, but as soon as he was ready to exert force, he was immediately confined to his original position and was powerless to resist. Second master is mighty. Someone shouted loudly, and the entire Jiang family team instantly became enthusiastic. Uncle Heir's strength is already infinitely close to that of the great monk in the foundation building realm. Jiang Bailey beside him praised without hesitation. Jiang Tianyun nodded, but glanced at Jiang Ruoan on the mountain. Although there is a gap between the innate 9th and 8th weights, they have not reached the point of being able to win in seconds. Being able to win so easily, he knows that it is naturally related to his obedient grandson. At this moment, it is not the time to take credit. Alright, quickly lock these people and thieves' bloodlines, don't give them a chance. Understood, second uncle. Jiang Bailey and others quickly reacted and used Jiang Tianyun to suppress everyone, sealing off their bloodlines. Jiang Wanshi and others also emerged from the mine at this time. Outside the mine, there was a mess, and it was time for everyone to clean up the battlefield. Jiang Ruoan also retrieved the box and jumped off the mountain. Little nephew, fulfill your mission and never let go of a thief. As soon as he walked out, Jiang Wanshi looked at Jiang Ruoan and was extremely excited to ask for credit. As soon as these words were spoken, Jiang Tianyun and Jiang Bailey, among others, looked over curiously. Jiang Wanshi saw the situation and quickly explained the situation of the dark cave. He was even more generous in praising Jiang Ruoan. I truly deserve to be a descendant of the Jiang family. This time, the enemy is ahead of us, otherwise we would have let these thieves run away. Jiang Tianyun burst into laughter. How could the young master be so clever? My nephew is exceptionally brave and worthy of being a genius in heaven. Jiang Bailey and others also looked at Jiang Ruoan in surprise. Previously, they only knew that Jiang Ruoan had good talent and rapid progress in cultivation, but they did not expect that he still had the ability to be ahead of others. If you look at it this way, becoming the young master of the family is a matter of certainty. Thank you all for your praise, but now is not the time to celebrate. Jiang Ruoan felt a bit embarrassed when praised and quickly changed the topic. These thieves are taking a risk to attack our mine cave, feigning to attack the front cave, but the main force is in the dark. I'm afraid they have ulterior motives. Grandfather, have there been any losses in the mine cave? Don't worry, it's just... Boom. Boom. Before Jiang Tianyun could finish speaking, it was as if the sky and the earth had collapsed, and the entire mountain range experienced a violent explosion and vibration like a magnitude 7 earthquake. The previously intact mine collapsed in an instant, and the entire mountain began to roll. The most maddening thing is that the spirit stones in the spirit mine, as the mine collapses, most of them turn into powder and return to the realm of heaven and earth, transforming into the spiritual energy of heaven and earth. Not good. Damn it. Jiang Tianyun and others immediately reacted, but everything was too late. The collapse of the mining cave is an irreversible process, not to mention their innate cultivation level. Even the great cultivators in the foundation building realm are headache-inducing. No. Chapter 10. Decisive Killing. You are listening at mouthful.audio. Our Jiang family's foundation is going to be destroyed by us. Jiang Bailey, Jiang Wanshi, and others looked at the collapsed mine, half kneeling on the ground like the crumbling stone, plunged into immense despair. The entire Jiang family team also froze in place, watching the collapsed mine and the spirit stones gradually disappearing into the spiritual energy of heaven and earth, feeling indescribable in their hearts. Only Jiang Tianyun remained a little calm. He knew that Jiang Ruoan had a large number of spirit stones in his hand, and Jiang Qingyan was also preparing to attack the foundation building realm again. The sky of the Jiang family would not collapse for a while. These guys' initial goal was to destroy the mineral veins of our Jiang family. What an incredible means! Jiang Ruoan's anger burned in his heart. Looking at the spirit stone that had transformed into the spiritual energy of heaven and earth, he didn't feel much heartache, but he felt extremely angry about the measures taken against the Jiang family this time. No, these are all the spiritual stones and energy of my Jiang family. You can't leave, I want to suck you up completely. Suddenly, Jiang Bailey let out a loud roar and rushed to the collapsed mine, frantically breathing in the scattered spiritual energy of heaven and earth, as if he had fallen into madness. Brother Bailey. Let him go. He just used his true chi to burst out, but now his body is in deficit and he needs these spiritual energies from heaven and earth. Jiang Wanshi still wanted to stop him, but Jiang Tianyun waved his hand to stop his movement. Watching the spiritual mineralization he desperately guarded turn into ruins, with Jiang Bailey's crazy nature, it was only natural for him to act like this. Grandfather, let's deal with those thieves first. Okay, come on, bring the thief up. Jiang Tianyun nodded. Now that the atmosphere of the entire Jiang family team is low, there is a need for an outlet. Quickly, the dozen or so people who were captured alive were all escorted over. At this point, they have already been sealed off by Jiang Tianyun's meridians, and unless they are personally unlocked by a strong person with an innate 9th level or above, they cannot exert their own strength. Nowadays, the masks of more than 10 people have all been lifted, and several familiar faces have also fallen into Jiang Qingyan's eyes. Sun Quan. Li Sheng. Good, good. Sun and Li families, you really did a good job. After seeing the faces of the two leaders clearly, Jiang Qingyan's face was so cold that it almost froze with frost. Humph, those surnamed Jiang, you're lucky this time, but you dare not kill me, instead you want to let us go. That's right, otherwise, your Jiang family will wait to be destroyed. Unexpectedly, Sun Quan and Li Sheng's attitude was surprisingly arrogant, without any worries about being caught. Does the Sun and Li families unite? Jiang Ruoan looked at the two of them, stroking his chin, and slowly came up with news about the Sun and Li families in his mind. These two families, like the Jiang family, are both aristocratic families in Sanfu City, with comparable strength. There are also no great cultivators in the clan who have built the foundation. It is precisely because of this that these two families often have friction with the Jiang family, and over the years, it has become a blood feud. These two individuals have an innate eightfold strength, and their status is like that of Jiang Bailey in the Jiang family, second only in importance to a few members of the main lineage. Blow up my Jiang family's spiritual mine, do you think you can still go back alive? Before Jiang Tianyun could speak, Jiang Ruoan took the initiative to stand up and ask in a cold voice. Where did you come from, little doll? Can you be the master? Sun Quan didn't answer, but instead sneered. However, no one answered his question, and he even noticed that the people around him were glaring at him and vaguely respected Jiang Ruoan. Even Jiang Tianyun, who was born with 9 layers, appeared to be at the mercy of Jiang Ruoan. At this moment, Sun Quan realized that the young man in front of him seemed to be really capable of making decisions. Humph, little ghost, let me remind you that your Jiang family has run out of resources, destroyed their spiritual minds, and the strongest members of the family have failed to break through. If you are willing to beg for mercy, there is still a glimmer of hope. If you completely offend us, we will not be far from annihilating the family. Upon hearing these words, Jiang Ruoan's eyes instantly narrowed into a slit, revealing a murderous intent in them. I understand, Lai Shu, Wan Shu, let them go back. Upon hearing this, Sun Quan and Li Sheng were overjoyed, and those around them also showed expressions of survival. Just before they could laugh out, Jiang Ruoan's next sentence completely scared them. Abolish their cultivation, cut off their meridians, leave a breath and throw them at the door of the Sun and Li families, while the rest, with their heads chopped off, are also thrown at the door of the Sun and Li families. Little ghost, do you know what you're doing? You're digging your own grave for the Jiang family. Sun Quan shouted incredulously, at least he's also a senior member of the Sun family, and now he's being so bullied by the other party. Shut up, you idiot. Jiang Wanshi couldn't control so much, and with just one strike, he struck his meridians and destroyed them. 20 or so people, a dozen or so strong individuals from the innate realm, were like watermelons being chopped off, and in an instant, their heads were piled up in a small pile. Well done, if you're safe, when facing the enemy, it should be spicy. Jiang Tianyun nodded in satisfaction, very satisfied with his grandson. Having killed the invading enemy, the atmosphere of the Jiang family team has also been slightly uplifted at this moment. However, Jiang Wanshi still asked with some concern. Nephew, killing recklessly is not appropriate. Uncle Wan knows why those two people were so arrogant just now. Jiang Ruoan did not answer the rhetorical question.